Hi all, welcome to Workato Masterclass series. Today we are going to continue our discussion on use cases. So before we move into our today's discussion, let's have a quick recap on what we have discussed in the previous session. We have discussed a few of the use cases which are very interesting and also logical on the finding a successor and fetch the substring from the whole string, right? So if you have missed it, please do check it. We'll be providing a link in the description box, as well as you can click I button at the right top of our video. Please do comment out if you have any questions. We'll get back to you. So let's go to our today's discussion on the use cases. That is the first use cases about fine the if the country code is CAN in the application A, then we should say CAD in application B. Else we have to say USD. It's just very straightforward, but there are a lot of things to be understand, like how can we do it optimized way, right? So this is the first use case, very simple and interesting.
This time the second use case. The requirement is remove the character that's slash r or slasher or both which contains like slash r or slash n, I and slash n with the HTML tag slash p, that is p, like the HTML tag p. Okay, p means paragraph. So understand this each character in a different systems, like means the OS operating systems. In Windows, the user slash r or slash r slash n, it is carriage returns plus a line feed. In Linux or Mac OS, it is slash r. It's a line feed only. Okay. In older Mac, okay, it is slash r, the carriage returns. Okay. So let's understand with this with an example. Say we have hello team. Please review the report. We need to finalize it by tomorrow. Some layout. Okay. And thanks by John. So that response has to be like, it should be do the specific paragraph part there and make it, it should remove the slash and if is there anything new lines, everything, and make it HTML compatible. Okay. So it is the does by the using our Workato formula. Let's understand these two use cases by practical way. Okay. Let's go to our workspace and understand this use case. Yeah, the first use case that is we have to do a conditions like check, right? Basically, if suppose the country code is CAN, that's Canada, or we should get the output as CAD, else we should get output as USD, right? Say, I have passed the country code as instead of USL send as CAN. Okay, now I should get the output as CAD, correct? And if other than CAN, if I send as a country code, then should get the USD. Say, what is basically this one line statement does? Okay? It means if the country code is equal to a Canada, then give me the response as CAD, else give the response as USD. It means the if and else, that is, if I do if in a statement and followed by, like say example like else conditions. I have an else condition for this particular operations. If I do if there's an operation like operation doing, if the country code is say if say I'll say country code equal to CAN, then what I'll do, I'll give the response as CAD, else I'll give the output as USA, correct? So this combining like the four statements, right? You can see like the steps, fourth step, like four steps. There are totally from 5 to 8. Total 4 steps is replaced with one statement. So that means the whole if and else block is combined in using ternary operator. This is particular operations called conditions are using if and else is called as ternary operator. Means it is a short form or a shortcut of using if and else. Okay. So let's understand by running this particular recipe. So let's see what we'll get the response as. We should get CAD, correct? So this is the first use case. So let's go to second use case. Okay. that is using gsub. Basically, I'm using the transforming the message using basically gsub. So let me what I'll do. I'll go to the template. Okay. Now I'll just copy this same thing, my template. Okay, it's already copied, so I'll just save it. Okay. So now I'm doing, I'm using this message template as for my reference, so that instead of hard coding those values into the like in the inside the recipe, I'm just using a template so that I can do in the backend side as well without disturbing the recipes. Okay, so I have saved it. Now say my requirement is to replace the any their characters. Say example slash r, a slash n is there, or a only slash n is there, or only slash r is there. Okay, there are three conditions like this, like both slash r and slash n, only slash n, or a slash r. Okay, if it is there, replace that with HTML tag, that is p. It means paragraph. Okay, let's see, understand whether it works according to our requirements or not. Okay, let's see. Okay, see, this is now replaced with a wherever there is a slash n or a slash r, if it finds on that, it is replaced with that HTML tag p. Okay, so that is the whole requirements all about. Okay, hope you have understood the requirements and why we are using the regex expression here. This is called regex. We can use regex expression inside the gsub as well. So if you click on the gsub, right, so you can use the patterns. Say instead of only the hard coded way of string, say example here, they are replacing blue with a red, right? Likewise, suppose wherever there is a find, if you find j, just replace with m, right? So what it does, it goes all through the strings, character strings, sentence, or maybe any like documents. It finds wherever there is a j, I should replace that j with m. Like that, it does the with the whole string. So what is the use of regex expression, right? Regex expression is a pattern. It's not like hard coded way of hard coded string. It's a pattern which you are finding. So example, in this case, I'm just finding, is there any carriage returns or new line characters present? Then that you have to replace that with the HTML tag p. Say in general, say if suppose you want to replace whether in your whole document, say there's a hundred lines in the your documents. In that you want to replace basically j with m. Okay. Now instead of you correcting each line wherever there is a j, you have to, instead of doing the replacing that with m, what we'll do in a document, just find control f, fine, there's a replace as well, control with the replace operations they can do that. Once we find that particular operations, right, options, we just find saying like what is has to be find and what is to be replaced, right? We'll find as j and what should be replaced with r, sorry m, sorry, yeah, right. So it will whole documents will be get replaced with from j to wherever there is a j character, it will replace with m. Similarly, instead of using hard coding, say where say if there is a blue, uh let's replace with red, that's like simple thing like you're in the documents. But for a pattern, say example, if you find patterns, say there's a new line characters, or maybe say suppose you have multiple characters to be replaced or multiple patterns. There's a patterns which is you have to find. Say this is nash slash and a new feed or a new carriage returns or maybe other characters like escape characters to be replaced. So they can be combined in a single reject expressions. So that the rejects will takes care of your patterns and get replaced with the finding character. So whatever you want to get replaced with replace the characters, it will be replaced with that particular string. Okay. This is all about whole about your use cases and finding the solution for that. So with respect to that, we have understood now two use cases, which is one is easy and second is little bit not tougher, but to understand the Regex Express is very important. Hence, I taken this use case so that you can make over this particular most of the session in your future use cases as well. Okay, so how basically you can remove the if and else conditions in a one single statement with using a ternary operators, right? That can be done using the in Workato as well, using that is question mark followed by colon. Okay, so that's ends this particular session, and I guess you have enjoyed as well as learned new things in this particular session. Until the next session, keep learning and keep rocking, guys. Thank you.